spread. But vaccines can help prevent serious illness and death from COVID in more than 9 out of 10 cases. So, now almost all COVID deaths are preventable, and so are the broken hearts they leave behind. We can do this. Find COVID vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. That's vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Checking KFI traffic, we go to the west zone in the Long Beach area. 91 eastbound from the Ferry Avenue to 4 right lanes toned off until 9 a.m. 2 slow miles, more road work on the 210 eastbound from McClay to the 118. Over the left lane is open until 5 a.m. Monday. And mechanics in the Braden Park area, 5 southbound on Artesia Boulevard, that's the center lane. KFI in the sky, help get the air faster. I'm Jonathan White.
No sé cómo decirte, no sé cómo explicarte, que aquí no hay remedio de lo que siento yo, de lo
It
que
is the Jesus Christ Show. I am your holy host. Happy to be with you this Sunday as I'm with you every single Sunday right here, answering your questions and talking about the things that truly matter in life and, of course, the afterlife. I encourage you to be bold and brave and go to the phone with your theology question or life situation question anywhere in the U.S. today. Dial 800-520-1534. That's 800-520-1534. Sean, welcome to the Jesus Christ Show.
Hi. My question is, why did Satan rebel against God if he ultimately knew God would destroy him at the end? And basically, what makes Satan think that he'll be able to exalt himself above the throne of God?
It's an interesting question because you think, wow, you're there in the presence of God already. You're a special creation, a beautiful angel, powerful angel. And then all of a sudden there's this rebellion. The belief in modern Christian theology is very simple. It's pride. Now, angels have the same ability to rebel as humans do, with some exceptions. They have the total sum knowledge they will ever have, so anything done will be permanent. And the decision has been made, both good and bad has been made. So the 1/3 of heaven that went with him, all lost, that's their decision. Those that stayed, all lost, that's their decision. It is also said that it is believed that angels have intellect, will, and emotion as well, the same as humans do. Again, the difference being they have the total sum knowledge they're going to have, whereas you are accumulating knowledge throughout your life, and only at the point of death will you be at that point, that same point that an angel would be, where you have the total knowledge of making any decision that would be permanent. So now you take all of those things, and you have this angel that slowly starts becoming prideful, wanting to be God. Isaiah 14:12-14. How you are fallen from heaven, O day star, son of dawn. How you are cut down to the ground. You lay the nations low. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. Above the stars of God, I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly. And it goes on and on. And
that's the verse that I'm kind of stuck at, because so if angels are supposedly 1,000 times smarter than us humans are, I mean, how does that make any sense if he knows that he's signing his own death sentence? Or does he think that...
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that your assumption is that sin is based on ignorance, not intelligence? That's not the case. It's a matter of thinking you can get away with it, building up pride. That's what we talked about earlier. Getting to a place where, many criminals are caught. They understand the consequences, but you fool yourself into believing, and you think it's an intelligent thing, and it's not at all. Pride supersedes that. Pride becomes the power that leads, not the mind or the intellect. So you go straight to the smarts when it's not smarts at all. It has nothing to do with that. It's pride that builds up.
That part of the brain.
Exactly. Every time, think about the things you do wrong in life. So, Sean, when you make mistakes or you sin, you know you're coming to that sin. You know it. You're approaching it, and you're justifying it in your head. Well, it's okay if I speed because I need to get there and I'm a little late. Or I'm a good driver. These other people are idiots, but I'm good and I'll take care of this. You justify it. And that's all the enemy did. It's not about intellect at all. There's very smart criminals out there. All they do is they allow their emotions to supersede, their greed to supersede their intellect, to transcend above that and tell them, hey, you could be something even better if you broke the rules. You are listening to the Jesus Christ Show. To ask your questions, dial 800-520-1534. All the money that my whole life I've spent.
I'm Brian Berman, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Rescuers are continuing to look for people who may be trapped in buildings and homes destroyed by tornadoes in the Midwest. 22 tornadoes were reported on Friday night that went through 6 states. One of those tornadoes stayed on the ground for more than 200 miles. In Kentucky, the governor says at least 70 people have died. In Illinois, an Amazon warehouse was hit and its roof was taken off. At least 6 people were killed there.
There are no words to assuage the pain of losing a loved one, and even fewer when that cost and that loss comes so suddenly.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says federal help is on the way. In Arkansas, one person was killed at a nursing home and another at a Dollar General store. Another 5 people were killed in Tennessee. Now it's time for a look at some KFI traffic.
But that closure going on in the Fountain Valley area. It's going to be on the 405 northbound from Warner Avenue to Magnolia. All lanes shut down there. Just a little bit longer on this one. They're going to wrap that up at 8 a.m. To Long Beach, look out for a work zone on the 91 eastbound from the 710 Cherry. The 4 right lanes coned out there until 9 a.m. And we have a crash in the Buena Park area. 5 stops on at Artesia Boulevard. That one is blocking the center lane. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jonathan White.
Keep your home sanitized with Coit Services. Save up to 30%. Visit Coit.com.
Southland weather from KFI. Sunny with highs from the upper 50s to mid-60s at the beaches, mid-60s in Metro LA and OC, upper 50s to mid-60s in the Inland Valleys, and low to mid-60s in the Inland Empire. Partly cloudy tonight, lows in the mid-40s near the coast, upper 30s in the Inland Valleys, and mid-30s in the Inland Empire. Chance of rain tomorrow. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Brian Berman.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug, it's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hope, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Cash offers for used cars have never been higher, and selling your car has never been easier. And it's all because of Roto. That's R-O-D-O. Not only is Roto the best place to buy a new car, but you can also sell your used car or current vehicle lease to Roto for quick payment. Roto makes the process fast, fair, and transparent. So, sell your car on the Roto app or at Roto.com. That's R-O-D-O. The fastest way to sell your used car for more cash than ever before.
This winter, we must all do our part to protect ourselves and loved ones from COVID-19. Getting vaccinated gives you the greatest protection against severe illness and death. And for the first time, everyone in the family ages 5 and up is eligible for the vaccine. If you are already fully vaccinated, get your booster to keep your immunity strong. Keeping each other safer is simple. Get vaccinated. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find a vaccination location near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
I am one of thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC,
which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body. I am using Inimalment and taking Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Be in your moment. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell count that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
2021 was another explosive year for podcasts. Podcasting has evolved at a rapid pace. Now it's time to honor the shows and hosts who kept us going all year long. Make plans to celebrate with us January 13th, 2022 at our iHeartRadio Podcast Awards.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial, auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Pastathon 2021 is in the books.
Hey KFI listeners, it's Jennifer Jones-Lee, and I wish I could hug you all for all the support you gave to Katarina's Club this year. And we couldn't have done it also without our partners at Smart & Final and VRLA.
You brought in over 115,000 pounds of pasta and sauce and helped raise over $930,000.
Thank you again so much, and here's to the continued success of Chef Bruno and Katarina's Club.
Thank you. KFI AM 640.
more stimulating talk.
Show on your Holy House. Happy to be with you this Sunday, as I am with you every single Sunday, right here, answering your questions and talking about the things that truly matter in life and the afterlife. Daryl, welcome to the Jesus Christ Show.
Thank you, young fella. My question
2,000 years old, and I'm a young fella? Interesting.
Well, you died as a young guy.
Indeed. How can I help you?
My question to you is, historically, there's been much intolerance to the Jews, and I'm wondering why it continues. And I see that still happening between the Christians and the Jews. And of course, now we're seeing it more often with the Islamic and the Jews.
Muslims and Jews have different issues. As far as Christians and our Jewish brothers and sisters, that should be a very different issue. And yes, there is some tension, but I would say that it depends on where you stand. There more and more, and I think this is a good thing and a healthy thing for Christianity. Christianity is understanding that it really is the baby brother of sorts to Judaism, and that if you look at the entire belief system, basically it goes thusly. Our Jewish brothers and sisters believed that there was going to be a Messiah. Now, Christians look at the writings of our Jewish brothers and sisters and look at that and refer to it as the Old Testament, which could sort of be offensive to Jews. So, and then they look at the New Testament, which is the stories about me, which is stories of the gospel, which is referred to as the good news. So you look at it this way, that throughout all those years, the Jews adhered to those, the law and the prophets, and then a group comes along and says, the Messiah that you were looking forward to has come in the person of Jesus, or Yeshua HaMashiach, And Jesus the Messiah has come, and we believe that this is the Messiah that what Christians refer to as the Old Testament or the prophets referred to. And in that, there is righteous tension by way of the Jewish people, because they're looking and saying, you basically co-opted our belief system and are adding things that we don't believe to it. So, through the eyes of Jews 2,000 years ago, they would look at Christianity as a non-Jewish cult. The same way that modern Christianity and mainstream Christianity may have issues with groups like Jehovah's Witnesses or things like that, offshoots or branches that say they have new writings or different writings in addition to, and that they have other leaders at times, and they have other theology, and they branch off. So if you look at that, there is righteous tension there. But there is other tension that comes from Christians that believe that the Jews were responsible for my death, and that's just not true. So I think more modern circumstances point to the fact that more Christians are adopting festivals and feasts and things like that of their Jewish brothers and sisters than ever before, and I think it's actually going in a really positive direction between Jews and Christians. Karen, welcome to the Jesus Christ Show.
Hi, good morning. I was wondering about pluralistic marriage, where a man could have more than one wife in the Old Testament, and my husband and I are just driving along and discussing this. So I was wondering if you could give me some insight about when that became permissible in the Old Testament and then when it stopped being permissible.
Okay, it's not permissible. It's never permissible.
Good.
Why is your husband, is he trying to negotiate with you, or is it just theological?
It's just theological.
Okay.
We're driving along and we've got the Bible. We talk about things.
Okay, that's wonderful.
He's not speaking in other
Okay. I was wondering if somehow you're going, so, honey, what do you think if we got a little, extra help around the house? Yeah, probably not a good idea. But since you both are just looking at it academically, understand this, that not everything in the Bible is prescribing what you should do.
Right.
Sometimes it just talks about what's being done, and that happens throughout the entirety of Scripture. Now, there's ways that you can conclude based on what's being said in Scripture that polygamy is not for the godly person. In the New Testament, 1 Timothy 3:2 and 12, Titus 1:6, it talks about the standard and qualifications for spiritual leadership, and that person is to be a husband of one wife, it says.
Right.
So, and it also goes on to talk about different things that dealing with leadership, dealing with being above reproach, being temperate, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable. So, if these things are for every believer, then there's no reason to believe, and not just for leadership, there's no reason to believe that the other qualifications here, in this case, dealing with husband of one wife, that is not for every Christian either. Plus, to do with back to Adam and Eve and the creation that God was looking to build a couple that would work together and that could be partners. And the word in Scripture is helpmeet, and that God wanted Adam to have a helpmeet, a proper helpmeet, and in this case, it was woman, it was one woman. So when you combine all those things and you look, you can even find in Deuteronomy 17, 14 through 20, if you read through that, you'll see that it's talking about that it's not good to have multiple wives and these types of things. So anything that's prescriptive, that's prescribing what you should do or not do in Scripture, says no, not good. But the other stuff is just describing what's taking place. There are people that were doing that, but it describes all kinds of things in Scripture, correct?
Correct. And was the action of taking more than one wife influenced by the culture around them?
Sure, many times. That's why you're not seeing a direct consequence. So you're not seeing a consequence necessarily to what these things are about. Maybe God is okay, it'll give me a thumbs up. No, there's a difference because God allows all kinds of things. And the Father is very allowing because humans need to make their decisions. So if God was constantly coming down and stopping you from making a decision, then no one would have free will. And in the case of people in Scripture that, people will say, well, what about, mighty kings? What about Solomon? What about these things? Well, if God says they're great, then how come they're doing things that aren't great? But that's the entirety of Scripture. Moses was a murderer. You remember Moses murdered the Egyptian, and he looked left, he looked right, and forgot to look up. And so there's many times where you will find people who miss the mark in Scripture that are still referred to as great men and women. It's because they're in overall looking at them in comparison to other humans and to the will and wants of God, that they're standing up to a certain standard, but they all are sinners, and they all will make mistakes, and some of them grievous mistakes. So if you look through Scripture in the men of renown and those that people often quote as being wonderful and great and things, they all have problems, and that goes for even great kings with the heart and mind of God. There are those that make many mistakes, but polygamy is never in Scripture condoned. It's allowed, just as any other sin is allowed, but not condoned.
Very good.
So I hope that helps you guide this morning.
It does. It does. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. There's nothing more beautiful to me than when a couple takes the time to spend and discuss these things. I think it's fabulous. It builds a wonderful relationship between two people to engage in ideas and thoughts and wondering. And so I commend you and your husband for spending time in the car that most people could just be quiet or, be upset about how long it's taking to drive wherever, these types of things, and using it for something so productive and wonderful. I think that's pretty cool. You are listening to the Jesus Christ Show. To ask your question, dial 800-520-1534.
If you thought you missed a lost mortgage rate in history, you're in luck because they're back. Mortgage rates are more historic lows again. So if you have a mortgage, refinance it and forget it. You'll never have to worry about refinancing again. Network Capital Funding is offering the most 15-year fixed rate at 1.875% with a 2.01 APR. Incredible! Network Capital has built a reputation for saving people time and money with our unique process of fast, simple loans for sure. Our 15-year fixed rate is 1.875% with a 2.01 APR. Second chances don't come often, and you may never see these rates again. So refinance it and forget it. That's a 15-year fixed rate at 1.875%. Yes, 1.875% with a 2.01 APR. Call the experts at Network Capital now. Call 800-500-1-HIT. 800-501-HIT. As in home run. Call now and save big on your refi. 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1448.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent James, and believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much. For your free quote, call 800-509-1667. That's 800-509-1667. 800-509-1667. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercial. The price could vary depending on your health insurance company and other factors. Not available in all states.
Hey, kids, have you ever wondered how to talk to your kids about the crazy things happening in the world? As great as schools can be, they often don't teach important things like hard work, how to start a business, the golden rule, or how the economy works.
But kids need to learn about big ideas like these, which means it's up to you. So, how do you go about it? By telling your kids stories. And that's the power behind the beautifully illustrated Tuttle Twins book. The Tuttle Twins is a series of children's books that have sold over 2 million copies already. These books teach important ideas that teachers and textbooks don't really discuss. And they make it super easy for you to help your kids learn the values that our country was founded upon. If you want to help your kids understand how the world works, so they can be a positive part of it, go to TuttleTwinsRadio.com to get your set of books. You'll get a 35% off discount and free book too. That's TuttleTwinsRadio.com.
Shipping KFI traffic, we do have a crash in the Long Beach area, 91 eastbound for 710, that's blocking the right lane. The Compton on the 710 southbound Alondra Boulevard or Westward, blocking the 2 right lane. Traffic is backed up the road. Also, like a full closure in Found Valley on the 405 northbound from Warner Avenue with Magnolia, already closed there until 8 a.m. KFI in the sky, help get you there faster. I'm Jonathan White. Your home road. Happy to be with you this Sunday. And I'm with you every single Sunday right here. Answering your questions and talking about things that truly matter in life and the afterlife. We encourage you to be bold and brave and get to the phone with your theology question or life wisdom question. Anyway, when you today dial 520-1534. That's 520-1534. Bob, welcome to the discussion.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for taking my call.
I'm well. How can I help you?
Well, I'm kind of in a dilemma. I'm a new Bible reader. And, you know, when you talk about the Bible with people, everybody has an opinion.
Of course.
But I'm sure not everybody's right because there's so many different. So, my question is, I started at Genesis, and my dilemma is this. I read that Adam and Eve were presented with an opportunity to make a decision, and they failed.
Mm-hmm.
The result of the decision was told to them in advance that they would positively die. My question is, were they... Did they have the prospect of going to heaven? Because if that was presented to them, that they would positively die, is that prospect to all men that if you sin, you die? Now, obviously, we're sinners, so I guess we all die. I want to know what their disposition is. Do they have the opportunity to get heaven?
I love that you are thinking this way. You've pointed out some really wonderful things to be thinking about regarding to Genesis. So I want to commend you on that. You're going down the right path of how people should approach Scripture. Scripture says in Thessalonians to test all things and hold fast to that, which is true, and I love that you're doing that. So let's look at a couple things. What is it? You have to look at what the words mean. What does it mean to serve God? Well, it's not talking about a physical death. We're talking about a spiritual death. So you're rightly curious to say, well, does that mean that they're for sure going to go to hell, which is the spiritual death, or what part does it play? There's nothing in Scripture that points to Adam and Eve specifically that says Adam and Eve went to heaven and paradise in the nothing. But you have to look at it in context and look at it this way. Everyone that sins is going down the path of surely dying. So imagine you tie that with later in Scripture, the wages of sin are what?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you know that the wages of sin is death. God's saying here to Adam and Eve, if they eat of this fruit, will surely die. So the same statement: those that sin will die spiritually. The only thing is, so imagine it more like a payment. Those that do this, in this case sin, will have to pay $1 million.
Doctor, I can.
They'll have to pay $1 million. They owe $1 million. So that payment will have to be made, is what it's implying throughout the entirety of Scripture. That payment is going to have to be made by someone. Now, $1 million can be paid by someone, but you have to think of it in a way that it couldn't be paid by any individual. So, all that says, will surely die, is pointing to the fact that it is, the consequences or the judgment is death. So, our Jewish brothers and sisters look towards, we're looking forward to the Messiah. So imagine this way, that really the things that they did was writing a check on a bank account that will be filled one day. Whereas modern day Christians are looking backwards at an already filled bank account that they're tapping into by receiving Christ or not receiving Christ, either they accept or reject it. So if you look at it, all those pieces play a part. What our Jewish brothers and sisters did to write that check was to do sacrifices, animal sacrifices. And those burnt offerings and the like were pointing towards the ultimate sacrifice which would pay for it, which was my death on the cross. You take all of these things into account, and you read Genesis 3:21, and Genesis 3:21 says, "And the Lord God made for Adam and for his wife garments of skin and clothed them." Many theologians believe that this was actually the first sacrifice, and that this sacrifice that is taking place there to make the garments and to clothe them points to the fact that they indeed were saved. And I say that in air quotes to understand the difference between somebody looking forward and writing that check by way of animal sacrifice versus a Christian that is looking back towards the filled account that it was paid for.
Okay,
so it's not it is the full justice, which is full justice, the wages of sin are death, period. However, that's for everyone across the board. Yes, even Adam and Eve, they will surely know death. What that is to say is they will understand, they will have a debt that is death, that can only be paid for by death, but in this case, the sinless lamb. So it's everyone that has ever sinned, all man, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. The consequence of that is spiritual death. However, by receiving the gift of grace, the blood on the cross, that debt can be paid for. But that's after the crucifixion and the resurrection. So prior to that, all the Jewish believers, all of those that were people of faith, were looking forward towards the Messiah, and therefore they were writing the check on that account, which is the sacrifice. Genesis 3:21 implies the sacrifice by the garments of skin. So that would imply to many theologians that in fact Adam and Eve were saved by the grace of God via the sacrifice. Also, the relationship that God has with them afterwards, although changes, does not go away, does not become obsolete, and so that points to that as well. So really, the scripture is best when you're reading it, and I love the way you're parsing it and hearing those things, and they stood out to you, they should. But really, in the fullness of scripture, we call it the hermeneutics, reading through and seeing the harmony of scripture throughout the entirety of scripture, not just one book or one verse or something like that. You'll see that that
Yes.
overall theme
Hey,
is
Jack.
throughout the entirety of Scripture. That the debt is death, and the payment is my life, my resurrected life, and that blood on the cross and that death that took place. He's perfect and sinless and spotless in it. And the combination of those things, although look a little different, depending on what side of the cross you're standing, if you're looking towards it, not happening yet, or looking back at it, it's already happened, the actions are different, but they have the same meaning. So
I'm here.
Where Adam and Eve fall short, it wasn't that God.
The
Father.
Do you want to eat the bacon? Look, look. This is mommy cooked bacon.
No.
David, take a look first. It's very good. Take a try. Do you want to take a try? No. Do you not want to eat any? Don't want to eat any. But they were outside and to be the warmer.
You are listening to the Jesus Christ Show.
It's not